About a year after Caroline got a divorce from her husband Mason, she decided to get out there again. She met a guy she really liked, Finley, the person who could make her forget all her worries in life. Caroline was raising 2 girls all by herself. Phoebe was 16 and Quinn was 11. Phoebe and Quinn didn't really take the news of their parents' divorce or the fact that their mother won full custody of them quite well. And when Finley moved in with them, things got even more difficult to digest. It wasn't that they didn't love their mother, but the sheer instinct of not liking the stranger who came out of nowhere got the best of them. Although Phoebe was quiet on the matter, when Caroline's relationship with Finley ended horribly, Quinn was more than happy about it. You think Mom will finally break up with that piece of... Quinn, don't talk like that. I don't like him either, but technically he's a father figure to us. He's not a father figure to us, and Mom hasn't been like Mom either. She's divorced Dad for no reason. She was wrong, but she doesn't want to admit it. First of all, little sis, we don't know what happened between Mom and Dad, and we will probably never know. When is she going to be back home? It's like she's forgotten about us. She doesn't even care for us anymore. All she cares about is that stranger. Just then, Quinn noticed a car driving in. She murmured under her breath, cursing Finley. But to her surprise, her mother got out of the car alone. Finley wasn't with her. Caroline started preparing dinner when she got inside, while Quinn and Phoebe came into the kitchen and took their seats. What took you so long to come home? I had some errands to run. Tell me how your day went, Caroline said, as she poured Quinn some juice. Horrible, like what you've made our lives into. Quinn, don't be like that with Mom. Sometimes we all have to go through bad times, Quinn. How are we going to get out of it if we don't support each other? I'm not going to support you. You ruined our lives. Because of you, Dad isn't with us. Because of you, we're a broken family. Mom, don't listen to Quinn. I'll talk to her. Quinn pushed her chair and left as Phoebe followed after her. Quinn, why don't you understand Mom's situation? No, she's a bad mother, and she was a bad wife. Instead of going through all those fights, Dad should have just took her life. Then none of this would have happened. I hate her. Quinn was much more close to her father than Phoebe. She was Daddy's little princess. After their parents' divorce, if it weren't for Phoebe, Quinn would have been out of control. Every night, Quinn would speak to her elder sister and relieve all her frustration and anger she had on her mother. But things seemed to be getting out of hand. Phoebe was nervous hearing Quinn confess planning to take the life of their mother. The next day, Quinn and Phoebe were to go to the mall. Caroline had promised to spend some time with them. I wanted us to wear the same dress on your birthday this year. Aha! This one is perfect for you, Quinn. It matches the one I have. Caroline was looking around when she spotted Quinn waiting for her. Oh, just like your sister's one. This would have looked nice on Phoebe. Why do you always talk about Phoebe? If you cared about us, you wouldn't have done what you did, Quinn said, dropping the dress and leaving out the door. Caroline sighed as she stood in line to pay for the items, and Phoebe caught up with Quinn. Mom looked really upset. Did you tell her something again? She deserved it. You can't keep blaming her like this. You're not the only one suffering, okay? That night at dinner, Quinn was fed up with her mother trying to pretend that everything was fine. Everything wasn't fine. Quinn couldn't hold in her rage anymore. Why did you do this? You left Dad for the stranger. Excuse me, young lady, is that how you speak to your mother? You're not my mother. A mother doesn't do what you did. Phoebe anxiously looked at Quinn, trying to eye her to stop. Caroline got up from her chair, holding in her tears. I wish you were like your sister, but you don't even try to understand. You don't deserve us. You know what? You didn't deserve Dad either, Quinn said before she stormed out the room. Caroline wept all alone at the table. Phoebe came to her. Mom, everything's going to be fine, don't worry. But her mother was in no condition to speak about what she was going through. That night, Quinn decided she would end it all. She wouldn't speak to Phoebe about it. Phoebe was always that suck-up role model child that would never talk back. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. At around 2 a.m., Quinn slowly creaked her mother's door open, holding the knife firmly in her hand. Quinn, don't do this, said a voice from behind her. I have to do this, Phoebe. They'll finally send us to Dad once she's gone. Quinn turned around and shrugged. Let go of me, Phoebe. Quinn stumbled back to see her mother, but quickly gathered her composure and held out the knife. Quinn, what are you doing? Come to your senses. But it was too late to explain anything to Quinn. She lunged forward, but luckily Caroline was able to hold her arm and wrench the knife away. Don't make this difficult for me, Quinn, she cried as she held her daughter tight, not allowing her to move. Quinn, snap out of it. I know everything has been too much for you to handle, but don't behave like this, sweetheart. It breaks my heart. You want to get rid of us too, like you left Dad, all for that man. Quinn, you don't know how much I want to bring our family back together. Quinn finally got out of her mother's grip. You're a liar. Phoebe! She screamed, running to her room. As soon as she opened the door, she found Phoebe sitting on her bed waiting for her. Quinn hurried to hug her big sister. But when she jumped towards her, to her shock, she fell right through her, onto the bed. Phoebe vanished right before her eyes. The room was empty, and she was all alone. Quinn suddenly came back to her senses. Phoebe was no more. Phoebe was long gone. All these days, it had only been a figment of her imagination. Quinn was just trying to console herself, like Phoebe used to. Trying to make her laugh like Phoebe used to. Trying to be like Phoebe, the responsible one. Maybe if she didn't care so much, she wouldn't have lost her life that day. Caroline had met Finley at a very depressing time in her life after a bad divorce. She had been spending time at a bar with a few friends when she was first introduced to him. He seemed like a nice guy, and Caroline often returned to the bar just to meet him. These meetings turned into dates, and they started to go out together. Finley knew about Caroline's 2 daughters, but he was never affected by it. He often came to the house with gifts for them and tried to bond. However, both the girls disapproved of this random guy intervening in their lives all of a sudden. Phoebe was polite, as she was with everyone, but Quinn was awfully disrespectful on his face. Despite the treatment, Finley never reacted in an aggressive manner. Seeing how patient he was, Caroline put her trust in him, and the relationship progressed rapidly from there. When she asked Finley to move in, he was more than ready. Caroline was happy to see how excited he was to start a life together. Little did she know that his every kind gesture was a strategy. Finley was just using Caroline for a place to stay, a reputation he could rely upon, and money he could use. He was unfaithful and could really care less about her as a life partner. Caroline had been fooled because she never expected someone so well-to-do already go after her for materialistic gain. However, Phoebe had been doubtful of Finley since he moved in. From withdrawing money from the safe to bringing other women to the house when her mother wasn't home was all suspicious, but she didn't know how to tell her mother. Until one day, Phoebe not only suspected but caught Finley red-handed with a stranger in her mother's bedroom. She insulted the woman and demanded she leave immediately. Though that seemed to get her out of the house, Finley had become enraged. Phoebe threatened him of telling her mother everything that had been going on. Unfortunately, the news wasn't taken well by Finley, and over a heated argument, things got physical and Phoebe lost her life. Hearing the commotion, Quinn had come, but she was too afraid to defend her sister. She was traumatized by her death. She couldn't accept it and began convincing herself it never happened. She blamed her mother of having ruined their happy family. She was devastated with her parents' divorce, as was, and this event made her believe that it was the root cause to all chaos that ensued under their roof. And Caroline? She had no defense from her side to tell Quinn. All she could do was bear her anger. Caroline helped the police in tracking down Finley. It was discovered that he was a con man. He went from woman to woman, exploiting them in each and every way, materialistically and physically. He had gathered much money in a bank account of his, which were earned all by illegal means of conning his partners. Finley was arrested with multiple charges of fraudulence and now murder. Numerous women came forward during his sentencing and testified against him. Caroline may have gotten her revenge from Finley, but would she ever be able to bring back what she lost? Quinn, Phoebe, come down for breakfast. Coming, Mom. Be right there. Perhaps she could, but others would never understand. Phoebe, come on, finish up. You haven't touched anything yet. Phoebe? Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.